Get me that signal. We need more power.
Hi guys.
Hey, Wizard World, Chicago Comic-Con, please give it up, make some noise for Mr. Stephen Amell! You know, I do want to jump to some fan questions right away. We got the microphones there and there, but, you know, I don't want to start things off on a negative point, but, you gotta go to a fight tomorrow. SummerSlam happening in Brooklyn, my town, tomorrow. And you know what? You didn't want to have to fight Stardust. You tried to get out of it, like you did not want to engage in violence.
Yeah.
Why did he push you to this? I don't know. I don't want to make things negative, but why did this man push you to such violence for tomorrow?
I don't know, because I never get mad. There's a great meme of me on a Facebook video going, I never get mad, and then the picture below it is me punching him in the face. But yeah, accepting the match tomorrow seemed like a really good idea on paper. But now I actually have to go do it.
Well, I noticed last night you posted a Facebook video.
Yep.
There is a Arrow costume right now in Chicago, right?
Yes. Not all of it. If you think I'm wrestling in leather pants, you have another pants. But a little bit of it. Yeah, I mean I'm wrestling as me, but I thought that I would be remiss if I didn't take the fact that I get to play a superhero on TV and combine that with a childhood dream of being in a WWE match into some sort of weird, fantastic fantasy sandwich.
It is a weird, fantastic thing. Well, you know what? When you're fighting a villain, you need to dress up as a hero.
That's exactly right.
Well, how's Ra's al Ghul gonna feel about this new bad guy, Damien Dark, kind of stirring up trouble?
I will say that Neil McDonough is playing Damien Dark this year, and it's a villain really unlike we've had on the show. Introducing some cool things, and his performance thus far, I've seen 2 episodes of the 4th season, is really refreshing and interesting. If I had Firestorm's powers, I would probably warm up Vancouver a little bit, because the new suit being sleeveless is a good idea in theory. Okay, it's good. It's a good idea optically. It's not a good idea in Vancouver in November. So it's going to be great during like episode 14, 15 of the season this year. Pay close attention to my arms and notice they'll look a little purple.
You're cheering for hypothermia. All right, sure. Why not?
Thank you. Plus, I don't write the show. So.
Well, speaking of the new Arrow Cave, how are you liking the new setup?
Haven't been in it yet. I was actually really surprised when they put out a picture of the new Arrow Cave. We've been working in the temporary Arrow Cave, which is small and dingy and dark, and actually very reminiscent of the early parts of season 1 before Felicity came in and installed lights. And she's looking doing all over. What are you guys even doing down here? I was surprised when they put that picture out. Apparently it's a gigantic set, biggest set piece that we've ever had, and that's really important for the show because from a logistical standpoint, we do so many big action pieces and sequences, and those take so long that the only way that we're going to be able to make the show over the course of 9 shooting days is if we're able to take a significant chunk of the script and bang it out in the Arrow Cave. And we usually do that on a Friday. We used to call them Foundry Fridays because we're having like 13, 14 pages of dialogue, which for the uninitiated is an insane amount to film in one day. Hi there.
Hi, I'm Sarah. Hello. I'm a huge Arrow fan, but I actually have to ask this personal question. Do you sing? That's what I've been wanting to ask.
You know, occasionally, not necessarily well. I have my songs that I like. Believe, just YouTube Stephen Amell Little Mermaid and all of your dreams will come true.
That's good to know, thank you.
You're welcome.
You say Felicity's name a lot on the show,
Yeah.
more so than anyone else's.
And by the way, I cut out the number of times they actually write me saying her name by about 50%.
Okay. Well, I was wondering if that was scripted or was that you?
No, that's actually that's scripted. That's half scripted. You know, one of the things I always find is I always on the show, and I love the writing on the show, but I always try to interject little pieces of dialogue into a basic conversation, because that's the way that people speak. We don't speak in speeches. We speak in fragments, not necessarily sentence fragments, although in Felicity's case, yes. But I always try to interject. If someone poses a question to me in what is written as a speech, I'll always try to deliver an answer, as opposed to a nod, because that's how conversation goes. But I do say Felicity a lot. I say Diggle a lot, although more John this year. And spoiler, kinda. But yeah, I do say Felicity a lot.
Well, let's start with, how are you so awesome?
How would you answer that question? You know what? I'll give it a try. Okay? I'm just trying to have fun and have a good time. And I think that by doing that and by trying to be as genuine as possible, that people recognize that I am having a good time and they appreciate it. Does that make sense?
A lot of sense.
Thank you.
Right on. Thank you.
And as for a new member to Team Arrow, I think technically the way that the season shapes up, the new member would be me. It'll make more sense. Thanks, man. Take a listen to the good comment.
Yeah.
No, Oliver and Felicity are just fully together this year. It's a good. It's nice to have. We've had so often on the show. We've had the dynamics of either a new relationship or a burgeoning relationship or a relationship that you think is going to happen. It doesn't. We've never really had a sort of aside from Diggle and Lila. We've never really had an established relationship where we get to see two people interact as a team, and I feel like we're doing a good job of that this year without being cheesy. Yeah.
Are you looking forward to sort of the positive family unit that we're kind of expecting going into season 4? Because we saw a little bit of that at the beginning of season 3, and then it all went to hell.
Season 4 has been extremely refreshing for me personally, because things were really bad for Oliver, save for like one episode for the course of almost a season and a half. From the point that Slade Wilson shows up in the Queen Mansion to essentially, with the exception of episode 301, until the end of season 3, things were really bad for him. Really, really bad. And it's been so fun to play a more grown-up, relaxed, happy, easygoing, and yet still steely and determined version of Oliver this year. It has been really, really fun. And I think you guys are really going to like it.
Yeah.
Are we actually, at some point in the future, going to meet one of the heavyweights from Gotham, such as Bruce Wayne, Damian Wayne, or Dick Grayson?
Back to the whole never say never thing on a show where people come back from the dead. I had a conversation with Diane Nelson, who runs DC, and we spoke a lot about them wanting exclusivity in the universes and wanting separation in the universes. And her explanation was essentially revolved around making the best version of each thing and not forcing crossovers just for the sake of forcing them. So when we get into the heavy hitters, quote unquote, of the DC universe, Batman, Superman, Green Lantern, Wonder Woman, you name it, Aquaman, essentially all of Batman v Superman. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough to bring that into the show. Although I do think that, you know, in the same way that Idris Elba, oh my God, Ezra Miller. Those names sound roughly familiar, even though those two people look nothing alike. Okay, even though he's playing the Flash in the cinematic universe, theoretically, and we haven't seen him yet, I see no reason why we couldn't have our own Bruce Wayne. That's my opinion. That might not be DC's opinion, and they're the bosses.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks, man.
That's the joy of the word multiverse.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
And this season, you do get to interact with Mr. Terrific.
Yep.
Hawkman.
That's right.
This
Oh, and John Constantine. I've been filming scenes all week with Matt Ryan. He is such a treat.
Yeah.
And a trip. He's always saying his lines. And he's getting ready to go on Broadway right now with Keira Knightley. And so he's always saying those lines too. I can't tell if he's having a conversation with me or preparing. But sometimes I chime in. He's like, I wasn't talking to you, mate. Okay, Matt.
Well, we actually, at Philadelphia Comic-Con Wizard World, is when we were talking and you said that you wanted him to come on Arrow. And after that was when the unfortunate news came out that Constantine was canceled. After that, were you part of the conversation, part of the creative talks to get him into Arrow, even after cancellation of this episode?
No, I mean, I'm not consulted on those things. I can have a voice on shows on social media, but I try to make it my business to not make things that don't directly involve shooting the show my business, because I have enough to think about in terms of continuity and integrity of the product and making the best show possible without getting into casting or all the various things that go into Arrow behind the scenes.
Well, we're all excited to see Matt Ryan going into
great.
Arrow first. Yeah.
I gotta tell you, after our first take together, we did the take, and he looks at me and he goes, dust him off, dust him off, dust him off. I don't know what the hell he was talking about.
It was a line from his Broadway show.
Maybe. I'm super busy. You know, I'm sort of like, I'm locked in. Hopefully Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles does well next year. That's gonna be really exciting. And if it does well, then probably go back and do that. And so we'll see. Thanks, man.
Well, with Turtles, you go from Oliver Queen is a trained fighter. He uses a weapon that requires a lot of precision. To Casey Jones is presumably a street brawler. Uses maybe hockey sticks. We don't know exactly what your Casey Jones will do. Was there a bit of cognitive dissonance in the training, going from this very style training to maybe a little bit more brawl?
100%, because you have to fight with intention, right? Oliver is very measured because he's theoretically seen almost everything. The Casey Jones character that I play, may have been in a fight on a hockey rink, but I don't know that he's ever been in a fight outside of it. And so he's all aggression. But it was so cool filming that movie. We typically on Arrow, if we have a big action sequence, we film it over the course of an entire day, right? But even then, typically there'll be a scene before or a scene after. For my final fight in the movie, my climatic fight in Turtles, we filmed at Pier 92 in New York for 5 straight days. And it's a 3-minute fight. I lost 10 pounds because it was boiling hot and I was wearing jeans and a leather jacket. Oh God. But it's going to be, I mean, for the Casey Jones fans out there and for hockey fans and for, I can't say the other characters' names, fans. I think they're really good. Wizard World Chicago, you guys have been amazing. Thank you so very much, everybody.